El aire,
el excedente.
El excedente.
El potencial,
El excess.
de vapor de
Yeah.
it's like
Like alcohol.
Ah,
Elixir.
Alexa.
No,
I didn't say nothing.
Oh, air enters the system through the inlet filter silencer and travels through the intake to the inlet valve. Inlet valve directs the flow of the air to be compressed by the first stage and directs the first stage intercooler. So the guide vanes will direct that air flow into the impeller for even more efficiency. Cooled and directed to the second stage where it is compressed further by second stage intercooler. We saw that, hands-on. Directed to third stage where it compressed design pressure and discharge to the plant system. They forgot one thing, they forgot to tell us about the condensation drains, but we knew that, right? Okay. The typical centrifugal performance curve at
Let me-
design.
let me do something. Una de las cuestiones que realmente no recuerdo haber visto, pero tiene mucha relevancia, es que en la válvula de admisión, las paletas, lo que hacen es también direccionar desde el ingreso del aire, ir generando como ese sentido al cual va a tomar al cual va a tomar el impulsor el aire. Entonces eso le ayuda para que un vórtice. Eso le ayuda para que tome de mejor manera el aire de ingreso, ¿no? Más eficiente.
Con lo tuerce, ¿no? Para que lo vaya agarrando.
Sí, sí.
Le da la vuelta.
Le va dando sentido a cómo lo va a tomar.
Sorry.
Estamos en la curva.
This is a good stopping point for the day. Okay, because we're gonna spend some time tomorrow on this portion right here. The reason is, we need a fresh brain to absorb all this. Not that we need it, it's a good idea, so it's not a waste of time. And we can go through it and drill it. Once we comprehend the compressor theory, it all comes together like a puzzle, real good.
Una vez que se entienda la teoría, vamos a ir pues más rápido, ¿no?
So, what I will do now is we'll do theory tomorrow. I want to show you the importance of this book now.
Vamos a continuar con la teoría el día de mañana. Ahorita vamos a ver lo más importante de los manuals.
Yeah.
Más importante que podemos conseguir en los manuales.
La que mostró ahorita.
Okay. Let's open up this manual right here.
You have an extra? Then?
No,
Yeah, you have it.
no.
Yes. You have mine. Also.
Okay, so this is the first page, this manual. Again, this is important as this,
Son igual de importantes.
depending on what's important. If you don't have this, Juan is gonna have a hard time starting the air compressor, isn't he? You know what I mean? It's not fun. Not fun. So, I always find the square box. I know what the box looks like, the crate. You'll figure out what the crate is. It's gonna be the same crate on every single one, but it's usually about this high and it's a perfect square. Okay, and you wanna get into that and find the books. Because usually what happens, customer opens it up and the books are lost. Or they tell you, we never got them. We never got them. And then you go into the office and you find them. Ah, there they are, I'm looking for these. But these books are really, really beneficial for us.
Or sometimes the customer says, that's mine.
So, on this, I guess I'll have to sit here. This is the first page of this right here, and it tells you what it, let me...
Hold on. Cuando estamos hablando de la importancia del manual, ¿no? Entonces, generalmente cuando llega la máquina, viene una caja bastante grande con las cosas que deben instalarse para la puesta en marcha, ¿no? Entonces, en esa caja generalmente vienen esos manuales, así que para que estén bien pendientes de que el cliente no los vaya a hacer perdedizos.
So when you're in the field commissioning or getting ready to start, this is your book. You have your arrangement drawing, your PIDs. We looked in there, we looked for the temperatures. That first page right there is the general arrangement drawings. Dimensions, you can find your dimensions, installation dimensions. Those are important dimensions. If the customer wants to install, you can always refer to those drawings right there. The second thing is the flow sheet, which we call the PID the flow sheet right there. Then you have your foundation drawing, your main motor information, your BOCV, it should have some information on the BOCV, the control panel, expansion joint, blow-off silencer, rust prevention diagram, K-list. I've seen better, more information provided, since this is a T2 training machine that's out here. That's why I printed this, so that way we can go through and understand how I did this via this book right here. It's gonna be the same as when you do a TRA or you do your TREs. You're gonna get your book for that machine, specific for that machine.
Este manual es para la máquina que tenemos instalada allá. Así que ahí nos mostró brevemente qué es lo que contiene este manual y obviamente es exclusivamente para esa máquina.
So, as you can see, there are a few things that are important. The K-list and the electrical control panel. So here's our dimensions of the compressor. You should be able to go through there and provide the customer any data or installation data. He's wondering the size of the compressor will be right here on these sheets inside. I have it blown up right
Si hay
there.
una consulta con el tema de las dimensiones, bueno, aquí tenemos todo lo necesario para que el cliente lo sepa, ¿no? Ya la instalación como se ve.
I don't use that page very much. I use this page.
Previously, is there any information to the customer?
The customer,
Yeah, usually yes.
usually, you know, when Alex and them are negotiating, and talking, he's provided them with drawings like that.
Generalmente, Alejandro, estos se lo dan estos ustedes los tienen disponibles, ¿cierto? Todo lo que son dimensiones de la máquina, etc.
Nosotros tenemos unos dibujos en la red y son genéricos.
Okay.
Hay alguna información que no tienen, después cada máquina es ingeniada una por una y ya llega ese dibujo, si se fijan, está firmado y todo, y ya está construido única y específicamente para la máquina que fue hecha. Por eso hay
¿Podría
una
cambiar
marca
mucho
cada-
en el tema?
No, o sea, por ejemplo, como los compresores se hacen por bloques, lo que va a cambiar son bridas, ¿no? O sea, si tiene es un compresor de 500 caballos, pues va a traer una brida de cierto tamaño. Si es una máquina de 1000 caballos, va a ser mucho más aire y va a tener una brida más grande de descarga. Cosas de ese tipo. Pero, por ejemplo, las dimensiones del frame, etcétera, etcétera, son básicamente las mismas.
Okay.
So when he finalizes and he makes the sell, he provides the customer and the contractor, engineering drawings so they can install. Some, you know, the customer, engineering firm always would get this drawing right here, a drawing like this, right here.
Y normalmente lo que pasa es que, bueno, cuando la fábrica termina la ingeniería, que es unos 2-3 meses antes de que se construya la máquina, nos lo manda, ya tenemos los dibujos, ya se los podemos presentar al cliente para que construya la base, sepa más o menos por dónde va a llegar la admisión, dónde va a estar la descarga, etcétera, etcétera, ¿no?
So this is our PID, right here. You can see, if you look closely and you open up your page to the second on the PID, you can see the air goes through the air filter, goes through the first stage compression, goes through the intercooler right here, which is the intercooler comes through, goes through the second stage. Are you following through?
Yep.
Sebastian, are you following through on your paper? On that, right here. This is how to install, how to understand and install a compressor in the field, right here. You look, customer will be very happy that you can go over this with them. And I'll show you some things they see. You go through, you can see through the first stage of compression. The theory.
First stage.
Right there. Comes through. What's this right here? In your book?
Intercooler.
Intercooler. So we come out of the intercooler and then we go through.
¿A dónde va?
A la esta de drenado, de rain condenser.
Okay, that's right here.
Here.
Yeah, you're correct.
And then to the second stage.
Correct. From the second stage, we go where?
Cuando salimos de la segunda etapa, ¿a dónde vamos?
Look, right down here.
Otra vez a la.
¿A dónde?
After.
After
Condense and
cooler.
drain.
Uh-huh.
Condense and drain.
No.
Yes.
Antes, al after cooler, que es el post.
Bueno, pues enfriador.
Okay.
Abajo, al depósito.
And what's this right here?
¿Qué es eso?
You recognized it. I know you know this one.
Ya. Bueno, la check
Yes.
valve.
Yes. And then it goes the check valve out to the,
Expansion joint.
yeah, expansion joint, and then to the plant. That's the same as we have out here, everything right here. Other than, the customer likes to look at this and they like to think this is the drawing, this is how it's gonna be, you know, this is right on top of each other. Usually there's an auto block valve that will be in the drawing, or there'll be, the blow-off check valve. Let's see, we have as you go through here, and you go through here, you go through the oil pressure. So as you can see, this is the reservoir and the oil circuit. So everything is right there on your PID. So also, do you see this drawing right here? See how it has that right here?
What are they?
It's like a triangle that's half black and then half empty. What does that mean? Down here in your legend.
Customer.
So one says the customer, and the other says Solar side. So if it's dark, that's Solar's responsibility, or that's your responsibility. Okay, so that can get real confusing too on the installation, especially when it comes to the drains, because it looks like right here, right? It looks like that's Solar, right? The black. See how it's darkened? That's a scope of Solar right here. Right? Well, that means that our scope is right here. It ends right here. Anything over here is what?
Electric.
No, no. Everything on that side right there is customer. So if you look on the diagram right here, anything on this side, that solid black on that triangle, that's Solar responsibility, or your responsibility. Okay, if it's on this side over here, what's that mean?
What?
Okay,
¿Qué significa?
see right here, we have the legend right here.
The
Look
black,
down here, it
the
says,
black one is for Solar responsibility.
Right.
The white one is for the customer responsibility.
okay, so if you
Sign.
look over here, the black is all over towards the aftercooler and the intercooler, right? But everything after that, which would be the condensation drains, that is the,
Solar.
oh,
The customer.
customer. Okay, and it gets to be fuzzy because they'll make it look like it's your responsibility. It all depends on how you do your installation. I prefer to do the drains myself because I feel it's a critical portion of it.
Si ustedes ven en la parte alta de la izquierda, vienen las líneas, creo que ya lo explicó. Pero igual dice water piping, que es la línea punteada. O sea, esa instalación, esa tubería de agua,
Sí,
es una instalación del cliente.
Sí, es lo que ya me dijo. Estamos hablando de lo que es trabajo de su ley, lo que es trabajo del cliente.
O sea, es que se manda la trampa de condensado. Eso es responsabilidad nuestra. Se manda por separado y el cliente es responsable de conectarla a la máquina. Entonces es muy importante que lo platiquemos con el cliente.
Sí, que el vendedor lo platique con el cliente porque luego
Nosotros mandamos ¿cómo se llama? Estos dibujos antes de que llegue la máquina y los presentamos con el cliente y hacemos una junta, ¿no? Tenemos que forzar a que el cliente esté bien enterado de toda esa información para que al momento que llegue la máquina sepa qué le toca a él y qué nos toca a nosotros.
Let's look at this expansion joint right here. That's an expansion joint. Now, this side of the piping, what's that say?
Solar.
So there. And this side of the piping here going out, what's it say?
Customer.
The customer, right here, in between, that's the customer, we supply the expansion joint. Okay, that's Solar. And then on the other side, the customer does all the piping.
Sale, ahí está, así de detalle viene, eso es lo que les iba a explicar. ¿Ya vieron este dibujo? Este dibujo es exactamente el mismo que vimos hace rato, el PNID, que está muy sencillo, que es el resumen de la máquina, pero este sí trae todos los elementos de la máquina. Esto no es un resumen. Inclusive trae todas esas banderas que están partidas entre blanco y negro, precisamente es. Por eso aquí está parte interna negro, parte interna negro. Esto es parte de nosotros. Nosotros le vamos a mandar la válvula, le vamos a decir, aquí está, pero usted es responsable de ponerla. Usted va a decir si corta aquí y aquí la pone o la pone más para acá o la pone.
Es que no entendía dónde empezar.
Chéquense en su libro,
Sí.
donde dice notas.
Sí, que dice su
Ahí nos dice la banderita, uno dice Customer, que es la línea blanca, bueno, mejor dicho, la parte blanca, y la parte oscura dice Zuller. ¿De acuerdo? Entonces ahí está dividiendo la responsabilidad.
Aquí en este punto se ve muy claro.
Sí, porque los demás están muy
Los
retirados.
dos negros que se miran, que es la válvula, esa nosotros la suministramos, pero ellos la conectan a
Lo conectan.
Por ejemplo, en el ejemplo de arriba, arribita de ese, del acordeón, está la válvula, la que es una check, ¿no? Que dice que
¿Está?
es su
Es una.
Oh, no, ¿qué?
una check, es.
NP.
¿Cuál es?
Bueno, esa, por ejemplo, ahí dice que esa es de su leer, pero la tubería la está poniendo.
We have a valve right there. And that's so there. And we will. We have a valve out there.
Ya, es que antes,
Aquí,
es lo que
¿esta cuál es, de hecho? Esta válvula, ¿cuál es? ¿Qué válvula es esa? Veanla en su dibujo.
no,
Es una válvula de 3/4.
Una válvula de sí, es feo, ¿qué?
¿Y qué conecta esa válvula?
But this
Esa es la del dren, exactamente.
This is how you answer your customers' questions with the PID. Right here, the installation right here. How that works right there. Do you recognize this? What is this right here?
¿Qué es eso que estaba señalando ahí? Véanlo en su dibujo para que sea más fácil.
This is that exhaust vacuum blower out here. And you see now, who asked me about the pipe that goes up?
¿Quién preguntó?
So that's basically, I just piped it up and stopped there, just to get the air, the air, the smell and the noise away from me. But as you can see, they have a proper way, they want you to pipe that out of here, they want you to have a slant to it, you know, because you wanna follow proper piping slants in case you get oil, or condensation built up, you don't want it to go back into that exhaust fan. But anyway, it gives you an idea of what it is, but as you can see, Solar's responsibility is where? That pump, right there, that's all we
All the
do.
exhaust valve.
Everything on the other side in that piping would be the customer. Okay. But it looks like, if you look at it, it looks like we would put like 7 feet of pipe or 4 feet of pipe or anything. Actually, where our responsibility stops is just right there. Right there, it's just a PID, it's just given it's just for you to know how it's supposed to be installed and for the customer. And how it works.
O sea, nosotros somos responsables de trabajar con este dibujo para poder contestar las preguntas del cliente, ¿no? ¿Qué es su responsabilidad? ¿Qué es nuestra responsabilidad? ¿Qué viene montado en la máquina? ¿Qué va a ser montado en el cambio? ¿Vale?
Okay. And we'll go over and spend some time on that. It's important. Okay, so here we have, this is where the position right here, the foundation drawing right here. And it gives you an idea of how that's gonna sit and on the foundation. The next one will be the foundation drawing. How to lay it out, how to lay the shims out on that right there. So it gives you dimensions and you can help the customer how to lag it down and what depth that is right there on the grouting. Okay, now we get to the main motor. This is where you'll find your motor information on that page right here. Power is a 150 kW, 200 horsepower motor, voltage is 460, 225 amps. You know, the next page, everything that you need to know about the motor data is in there, which is the motor test, three-phase with scroll cage rotor, locking.
I have a doubt right here about, do you know how could I see the rotor side or the rotor direction?
You know, I don't think it's gonna show you on this paperwork, on the,
Because
this is just engineering drawing, but you might be able to, right here.
okay. Because when we send the information from the Ecuador machine, our people in China said that the motor has the other direction than the compressor.
Yeah. So,
¿En serio?
yeah. So.
No, les cuento, estamos haciendo un negocio con una compañía en Sudamérica y el cliente quiere utilizar un motor, entonces quiere que le vendamos el compresor sin el motor, porque él ya tiene el motor. Entonces dijimos, claro que sí, necesitamos la información del motor para saber pues, qué características tiene y si cumple con las del compresor. Y lo primero que se dio cuenta la fábrica es que el motor giraba en sentido contrario al compresor. Entonces le dijimos, ¿sabes qué? Tu motor gira en sentido contrario. Él fue con el fabricante del motor, con su representante que tiene en su país, y le dije, oye, tengo mi motor que gira al revés. Entonces no te preocupes, lo traes aquí, lo reconecto y le invierto el giro.
¿Qué tipo de motor era? ¿3? Digo, básico, jalo de ardilla.
Sí, debe ser, no me acuerdo bien, pero sí.
Pues puede quedar en ambos sentidos.
Pero obviamente para que no pierda la garantía y eso, pues la conexión la tienen que hacer.
Las líneas tienen que ser tal cual, 1, 2 y 3 tienen que estar correctas.
Exacto. Y si se fijan, o sea, aquí está bien, o sea, dentro de la información que se manda, bien especificado cómo gira lo que trae la flecha.
Sí, porque muchas plantas ya traen sus líneas así especificadas. Esta es la 1, esta es la 2, esta es la 3 y así es. Y así ellos, yo te bajo mis líneas al equipo y así se van a conectar.
Es correcto.
Y así es como...
¿Qué marca de motor se usa? ¿Qué marca?
Nosotros, normalmente, o sea, somos igual que Ingersoll Rand, configuramos a lo que sea, pero lo que más usamos es Siemens China y Teco. Teco,
Ok.
la marca china, que también conoces.
Sí.
que usa.
También trabajo con ellos.
Es correcto. Pero si el cliente pide un motor, Westinghouse o IEC, y hay disponible, se pide.
So this is fun here too. This right here. A lot of the times the motors don't come on the air compressor. A lot of times they're shipped separate. So you'll have to wire in the RTDs and the varying temperatures right here. And so in the book, this is where you would find out how to wire that in. And then and then this is what the motor data is. Now you need to get that to the compressor. And I'll show you how to do that here in a second. So, a lot of the compressors, the motor is shipped in its own box, and you got to put it on.
Esta es la información también del motor, del monitoreo del motor. Muchas veces los motores vienen embarcados por separado y nosotros los montamos. Entonces él les va a decir en el panel de control dónde tienen que conectar los cables de la información del motor para que en el panel les aparezca las temperaturas de los devanados y todo lo que tenga el motor.
As well as wiring the motor up inside usually inside the pecker head will be a wiring diagram on how the electrician can wire the motor. When we were at Famosa, I think Jose had to figure it out for Famosa. Here's a controlled pneumatic diagram of single seated glow valve. So this is this would be the blow off valve, blow off check valve. So you have your diagram right here on what it is. As you can see, you got your 420 going out. right here, and you also have a 110 volt right here, so you have power supply, a 4 to 20, as well as a 110, and you have air. So it takes, you gotta connect it, an air valve, solenoid valve, and the positioner.
For the commissioning, the main motor should be wired from the steward, I'm sorry, from the customer, right?
Yes, usually the motor is handled by the customer electrician on site. Your job is to get in and inspect it, make sure they use the right size wire, make sure that it's wired correctly.
Okay. Bueno, el trabajo que tenemos que hacer nosotros es básicamente el cliente va a conectar y debe de conectar en base a la información y nosotros tenemos que inspeccionar. Tenemos que revisar que esté bien conectado, que tenga zapatas, por ejemplo, cosas así, detalles de que esté aterrizado, etc. Pero bueno, es responsabilidad del cliente, porque algunas veces el cliente dice, bueno, es el cable, ahora conéctalo.
Sí, aquí están las puntas,
Sí,
dijeron
me han
Felipe.
contado.
El cable apenas se puede mover.
You wanna see them tighten it and torque it, you wanna take a picture for you. IHI or Solar say, no, it's wrong, well, you can go back through your pictures and show that you have the pictures taken, like I take hundreds and hundreds of pictures on each job site for verification. So here's the COSO valve right here, that's the blow-off valve. As you can see, it has a positioner, and the positioner uses 4 to 20. It has a solenoid valve, which uses 110, and it has an air valve, which we need compressed air to assist compressed. And it has that, so it has that. It also has the positioning valve on there. There's the positioner. You can order parts, a lot of it. A lot of the parts I've crossed over and used local parts here in the States. Ascot or valve, you know. So you have all the information on the this is on all the part numbers, model numbers of your valves, everything right here, and components you'll have on there on a sheet. I recognize some of these numbers, but I can't verify that they're the actual part numbers or anything, but at least you know what the description is of the parts and where they go. As you can see, name, model number, maker, specification, and they're numbered. Okay, so here's maybe I can turn these pictures around. So look in your book, I printed these off, but in your manual, we can go to the electrical diagram right here, which will give you the cover right here on this. You can use the picture as a reference for when they copied this in electronic version. I can't flip it. But this will give you a reference on page 8, right here. control panel right here, you have your parts list right on this side right here, which would be
Está como a la mitad más o menos.
which will show you, and they're numbered in the cabinet, as it's numbered, is the breakers, the contactors, the thermo relay, breaker. So you can get, if you look inside your book, not on the screen, and orientate that, and you went out to the control panel and opened it up and orientated, you can find out the description of what these are. Like, now these are, I copied this out of the manual, and as my eyes are hard, they're difficult to see, I would probably have to take a picture with my phone and blow it up a little bit. But 14.
Bob,
You mind if I rotate that for you? You can rotate that?
Which one do you want to see? Do you want me to make it bigger?
I can't see, it's this one right here,
Which one? That one? Okay. Let's see what that is.
let me see your magnifying glass. Who got this? Fun?
yeah.
F1 no.
No hay F1 si revisas. Si revisas en las listas, no hay F1.
So, FT, okay.
It's a word.
That was, I was looking for it, and it says it on there. What's FT?
Power filter.
Power filter. That's the one I was telling you about, that filters filters the Micrologix 1400 and the display. So it's like it's a filter. So we're not supplying dirty voltage to that. Does everybody know Greg?
Yeah.
¿Todos conocen a Greg?
Greg Nolan.
Greg Nolan is the layer man. He's the dryer man.
The dryer man. That's good.
He has a lot of centrifugal experience as well. Back at Cooper and probably a few other models.
Yeah.
Before he came to work here at and as well as IHI, he went to the factory quite a few years ago.
Yeah, I've been twice to the factory up there, yeah.
So this is a good way, and it's trying to show you the value of this book, of going in, and as long as you have your, did I give it back? The magnifying glass, did I give it back to you, Juan?
¿Te regresó tu lupa? ¿Te regresó?
Oh, no, I just wanna make sure I gave it back, I had a memory lapse.
No, que si te la regresó solamente.
Ah,
You know
pensó
how you
que-
put it, it's like-
Y se la regalan. Que siempre me ha querido una lupa como esa.
So, they understand that's the breakdown on this.
Bueno, finalmente esto lo que nos está mostrando es cómo de la forma más fácil encontrar los componentes dentro del tablero, ¿no? Entonces tenemos un código acá dentro de la caja que lo podemos encontrar. Por ejemplo, él estaba buscando el FT. El FT lo tenemos por aquí y nos dice que es un
Filter.
Power filter. Entonces nos va direccionando a donde están las conexiones. ¿Por qué? Porque
gracias.
enseguida viene todo al respecto de dónde se van a conectar cables, etcétera, ¿no? Ya nos lo va a dar ya nos va a dar la descripción, más nos va a dar los números de cable que se encuentran en el terminal board, en el bloque de terminales número tal, etcétera.
Pero lo más práctico hubiera sido que sea por
¿Perdón?
Lo más práctico hubiera sido que sea por número.
Sí,
Lo
está
estamos buscando
está
por
descripción.
nombre.
Bueno, de alguna manera.
Ahí es donde entra a ir a la tablita y ponerle el número acá donde tiene el nombre y ya está.
Sí, o sea, vamos a tener que hacer cierto trabajo ya en el sitio, ¿no?
Pero no son tantas las conexiones, ¿no? Es nada más del si no me recuerdo, la mayor conexiones fueron del panel de fuerza al panel de control y si no, o sea, no me recuerdo algo así. Y por ahí los sensores de vibración, pues realmente era...
Sí, realmente, o sea, la gran mayoría ya viene conectado, pues. Solamente algunas cosas como que el sensor de vibración, que alguna señal desde el arrancador hacia el control. Entonces, ahí es donde nos vamos a tener que enfocar. Lo demás prácticamente está...
¿Este trae protección de fase?
¿Perdón?
¿Trae protección de fase?
Control panel,
¿O se puede checar como en los de tornillo? Un botonazo para checar el giro.
No.
No, ¿verdad?
Face
protección
monitor.
de-
Have you
es
seen
protección de
face monitor
extensión.
here in this?
There is no phase monitor.
All right.
No phase
But
monitor.
they have to figure out.
Bin shop.
Okay.
Bin shop, if you have the correct on the bin shop, you can do, you can monitor rotation of phase right there, ABC.
De cualquier manera tenemos que hacer la prueba en el motor antes de estar acoplado.
Ok.
Es parte del comisionamiento.
Bueno, nomás me acordé de algo, estoy imaginando o lo dejamos trabajando cierto cantidad de
Sí, lo
tiempo.
dejamos trabajando.
Después del giro, antes de la
How long time the my motor should be running before start out? I mean, remember when
Right.
the compressor was open?
Right, so depending on the size of the motor, I usually run it uncoupled under an hour. The bigger motors, I will run for 2 hours, running uncoupled and everything in there. There's benefits to running it uncoupled. At that time, you need control amps and you need amperage to open up the blow-off valve and do some testing. So while the motor is running, you can program your minimum amp set point below the minimum, the amperage there, and now you can stroke your VOCV and you can open up your valve while the motor is running. So there's work that you can be doing testing while that motor is running uncoupled.
Bueno, ahí les van todas las respuestas y las aclaraciones.
Muchas respuestas.
La máquina no tiene face monitor, no sabe girar al revés. Si la máquina gira al revés, se echa al revés. No puede girar el compresor. Si ustedes tienen el motor desacoplado y giran el motor al revés, no pasa nada, lo van a cortar y se van a dar cuenta que hay una fase inversa, lo van a
Habla la
acoplar
fase.
y listo.
¿Le hablas al fabricante del
Sale.
motor? ¿Cómo era? ¿Le hablas al fabricante?
Bueno, eso si quieres, o sea, invertirlo como ellos que lo quieren hacer desde fábrica para que quede protegido por la garantía. No vaya a ser que el motor se queme en 2-3 meses y no, pues es que tenías que haberlo cambiado internamente y tú nada más invertiste las fases, ¿no? Y bueno, entonces luego dicen que dependiendo del tamaño del motor, tienen que desacoplado, ¿cómo se llama? Girarlo, tal vez 1 hora, 2 horas. Todos modos, ustedes van a hacer una serie de seteos en la máquina donde setean el mínimo punto de corriente y el máximo punto de corriente para poder ajustar la máquina. Hay una parte que la máquina se gobierna por el amperaje. Si no abre, cuando la curva del día es politrópica, se mueve de caliente a frío y todo, puede abrir más la válvula de admisión y quemar el motor, porque consumiría mucha potencia. Obviamente el motor está protegido, está sobredimensionado, pero debe tener un límite. Entonces la válvula también no quiere abrir más y hay aire para consumir, pero si el motor ya no puede, el motor le dice, ya no se puede abrir más. ¿Sale? Estas son las consideraciones eléctricas de las que están hablando ahorita.
Nada más sería como el tema cuando nos ajustamos en el display, no, nada más que aquí lo ajustas. En lugar de ver compresión, lo ajustas con el amperaje.
Es correcto.
Hay que alinearlo, hay que alinear entonces.
So, does this look familiar?
Así es. Si en algún momento el cliente hace un mantenimiento eléctrico, hay que desacoplar el compresor para volverlo a arrancar. Porque si alguien en ese mantenimiento eléctrico cambió una fase en una subestación o eso, prende el compresor y se lo echa.
So this is your display, showing you the display right here. This is your e-stop button. This is your local remote switch. This is showing you what you need for your permissives. Are you ready to run your oil pump? Remember we went into that screen, the hidden screen back there to see how to get the all the lights lit up green right there. And so that would be, these are what's required for your permissives. How do you acknowledge the how do you acknowledge alarm?
By pressing the alarm.
By pressing
By pressing that.
and
Then reset.
reset. Okay. How do you start? You wanna get ready to start this machine. What's the first thing you do?
Is that preparation maybe?
Yes, start prep on. And that takes about what, 15 seconds, 20 seconds for all these lights to light up green for us to go and run. Right
When
there.
you push start preparation, then you start the auxiliary oil pump.
It does. It starts the minute you hit that. And then it takes about, I haven't timed it. To me, it seems like minutes, but it's like 20 seconds or 5 seconds, you know what I mean? But it's like forever. For all the permissives to come on. It could be 10 seconds, but in my head, it's like a minute. You know, it's, just the way I operate. You know, I went, wow, come on, where's it at?
If you missing any green light, the compressor is not going to won't going to start up, right?
Correct. And what's good about it is whatever the red light is or whatever the light is that's not on, that's all you have to go to. Those are the only 4 requirements for a permissive start is right here. Is the, if it's ready to run and you don't have, if you have, your wiring is wrong to the starter, you will have, you won't get a ready to run. You can have your auxiliary oil pump, your trip, and all those green, but your ready to run isn't working, that means you got a wiring problem. So it's pretty basic, but at least you know that this is what I gotta go into the starting circuit, which is what, 4 wires? Or actually, to tell you the truth, it is only 4 wires, because all you're trying to do is get the run feedback, and you're trying to get the alarm. And that's what's, that's the feedback for you to get all green here. So, if that was switched to remote, can you start it? No.
No, is that a question?
No. If it was on remote, can you stop it?
Nope.
No.
Nope. Because
If you hit the e-stop, would it stop?
Tenemos dos,
I think so.
Yeah.
tenemos dos maneras de trabajarlo.
And this is why I'm
Remoto y
going
local.
going to this story right here. I drove 200 miles. I drove from Austin, Texas to Houston, Texas, because I started this compressed air system, and we started it in the starter, wire job, starter job. He comes up to me and he calls me and says, we can't shut it off. I went, oh my God, what did I do wrong, right? I can't think, why can't you shut it off? Well, we hit the stop button, it won't shut off. I go, oh my God, I must have did something wrong, right? And I said, well, hit the e-stop button. It'll stop. So he hits the e-stop button, boom, and it stopped, right? I go, now start it. It won't start. Oh, now everybody's in a panic. It wasn't a backup compressor, but it wasn't like it needed it, right? So I'm not thinking, I can't think that, we just, it'd been different, it'd been at Famosa for, however long, 2 years now, and they call up and say it can't start, right? So, I drive all the way there, I'm not far, 200 miles isn't far considering I fly everywhere usually, right? So I didn't think it's no big deal, I drove all the way over there. And it was the switch here. So they had a power outage at the plant. And the young mechanic that was there went to go try to start it. And how did they start it? They turned every knob and button there is just to get this thing to start. They didn't know, right? And so he got it started, but at the same time he had turned that to the remote. So not that it was an expensive lesson, but it was I did drive 200 miles, to start and stop this thing. We had it in remote. So
Did you charge for that?
it was a pretty good distributor like Mac Power, so no.
A ver, dile que no.
Te regresa el veneno.
A ver, dile que no.
Ok, ese es un botón de local y remoto. Entonces lo que nos está explicando realmente acá es que si tú lo pones en remoto, tú ya no vas a poder ni parar ni volver a arrancar ese equipo local, ¿de acuerdo? Entonces lo que le sucedió a él tan simple es que alguien lo puso en remoto y ya no lo pudieron parar. Cuando lo pararon, tuvieron que presionar el botón de paro de emergencia. Se apagó, por supuesto. Sin embargo, a la hora de querer arrancarlo, pues estaba en remoto. Entonces no estaba dando los permisos.
No iba a arrancar.
Exactamente.
Entonces,
Lo único que... solamente lo giras al local. Es un switch.
Eso sí, no. Pensé que era un...
No, es un selector.
Entonces, si lo vas a trabajar en remoto, controlado por algún Metacent, es el único que conozco.
Bueno, no podría ser tan simple manejarlo remoto, ¿no? Por el tema de las preparaciones que hace previamente.
¿Cómo? No,
para trabajarlo remoto, pues no es tan simple como que me llevo las botoneras así.
No, lo que pasa es que le quitas habilidades al control. Esto lo que te hace es quitar funciones locales. O sea, por supuesto, no tienes cableado nada, no tienes absolutamente nada más para allá. No vas a poder arrancarlo ni pararlo remoto. El tema es, tú al girarlo, al ponerlo en remoto, le quitas posibilidades al equipo de que arranque y pare localmente.
No lo puedes. Porque
lo desconectas, pues es como si desconectaran los botones de arranque y parada.
Pero estoy seguro que le dijeron a él, nadie le ha movido nada.
No.
Anybody told you who moved this?
Yeah. You hear it all. We didn't touch it. We didn't touch it. So I'm bringing it up. I mean, we're talking commissioning. We're talking starting this air compressor up. I would imagine that was probably 2 days after I commissioned the compressor when that happened. I mean, things happen right away. Buttons being pushed and maneuvered. So it's like the drain. It can happen. You get a call. It won't start. And there's, holy cow, it's a whole where do you begin? You know what I mean? There's a lot to the electrical, there's a lot to the starting circuit, and all of a sudden he's telling you it doesn't start, and you're trying to figure out over the phone, and it could be as simple as that switch right there. So tomorrow we will go into this wiring diagram right here. As you can see, it really isn't too difficult. You know, you have your auxiliary oil pump. You have your exhaust fan. You have your blow off. You have your blow off valve power, and you have the other valve right there. So we'll go through that